What is up? I hope everyone's having a great day. Hey, do me a huge favor, and if you're a hog hunter, if you're a deer hunter, if you're a hunter, please subscribe. I've got almost 90,000 followers on some other platforms, so I'm trying to build this one up. So what I wanted to do in this video is kind of go over some of these attractants that are made by Texas Hog Bait and kind of how I use each one. But let's say full disclosure, look, I don't get paid anything from Texas Hog Bait. You know, Jackie, the owner, is a friend of mine, so I help him do some testing on some stuff. But I don't get paid. I'm not a paid spokesman, and you know, if the stuff didn't work, I would use something else because I'm still paying for it. So just to get that out of the way, but I do have a good relationship with Texas Hog Bait. You know, again, I believe in the product and I use it. So what we've got here is we've got a couple different. We've got the powdered, the dry baits, and then we've got the liquid bait, the blackout. And I think one thing that a lot of people get confused is how do you utilize each bait? And it's a good question. So let's just kind of go over that. So on these dry baits right here, the way I use them, and look, I'm not saying that I'm 100% right on the way I use any of this. I'm just going to tell you the way I utilize it and the way I've had luck utilizing it. And then you can kind of take that and develop your own ways to use it the way you see fit. But this Hawaiian Crush right here, I've been using it for quite a while. And the way I use it is for every bag of feed, for every bag of corn I put in my feeders, I put a handful of this in there. Okay, and so why would I do that? Why would one do that? Well, what it really does is there's a bunch of reasons, but you got to remember here in Texas, I'm competing with my surrounding neighbors here, right? They all have deer feeders, they all hunt hogs. So what this does is this allows me to just get a little bit of an advantage. So when that feeder goes off, what you'll see, and you'll see a kind of a haze of this Texas hog bait go in the air, and that's going to carry that scent of this Hawaiian Crush downwind and bring in more game than would otherwise happen. And I think the other thing is, you know, it also coats the corn. This stuff tastes great. It falls on the ground. It gets in the dirt. And it's also going to make your corn better than the neighbor's corn. So that's how I use this. One thing I don't do is I don't waste it by pouring like big piles of this on the ground. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that does a lot. I think it's a better use, because if you pour a big pile of it, the hogs are going to walk over there and they're going to eat it. And you're certainly going to get some left in the ground, but it's going to be the same difference as if you just disperse this through the feeder and have a light coat of it. In the end, it's going to be about the same. And that is worth noting here, is that the more you use this, it's going to get in that dirt below the feeder, and it's going to just constantly kind of put out a favorable scent. And I use this one, this new peanut butter. This just came out. I just put it in a feeder last night, so we'll be testing it. I mean, it smells great, and I've got really good. You know, I'm thinking it's probably going to be pretty good. So on this blackout, what I do with this is my general philosophy for this, and I think the reason you see so many trappers and stuff using this is I like it because it'll keep the hogs there a long time. And that's what I like. So how I use this, I'll go get a 5-gallon bucket and I'll put some corn in there. You know, I'll put a half bag of corn. I'll pour some of this in there. I'll coat it, you know, stir it all up real good. And then I'll go to the site that I want to bait, and I'll kind of spread this around a little bit. And another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down like some of those animal paths, and I'm going to go, 50 yards down those animal paths that come to the feeder that are the area that I'm baiting, and kind of make a little path to kind of guide them to where I want them to go. The other thing I'll do with this sometimes is in those areas that are around the feeder or the bait site, I'll pour some of this stuff on some of the tree stumps, on some of the brush, just a little bit, just to get the scent of this stuff in the air. This stuff smells like black licorice. It's really strong smelling. The hogs love it. The deer love it. One funny story with this is I went out to a cold site that's way out of nowhere on my ranch here. I've never hunted within a quarter mile of it, and I took some of this sounder syrup and I baited it up. I poured it all in the area with some corn, and I put a camera. And for the first month, there wasn't a single hog that actually came, but there was probably 60 deer that came. And there was tons of raccoons, there was a fox, there was a coyote. And I guess what that shows is all animals love it. Once the hogs got there, they were there, and they were there for a long time. But I thought it was just really interesting how many deer piled in there within 3 hours after I baited the site. So that was really interesting. So there's a lot of ways to use this. And I think the reason trappers love this and it works so well is when you have a big trap and you're trying to get the whole sounder in there, you want to get it to where they all get in there. And having this gives enough time to have all the hogs get in there and get the whole sounder in the trap. So if you have any questions about any of this, leave it in the comments. And again, please subscribe. Out.